YouTube, what's going on, guys? I'm back here for another video covering Dune Awakening. In this video, we're going to be going through an endgame build that I use to complete overland testing stations as well as some of the endgame content in the game. This can also be used to do your daily quests in the Lantrod, but let's dive right into it. So the first thing I want to go through is the loadout that we're going to be using and the armor and the weapons. In this case, I'm going to be hybriding between several different weapons. The primary one I'm going to be using to clear ads and dungeons is going to be the replica pulse sword. You can swap this out for the dual blades, the rapier, or any sort of melee weapon that is your preference. But the big thing is that we're going to use a melee weapon to keep our shield up when we're doing harder endgame content, so we don't get killed very quickly. We're also going to be having on our bar an experimental lightning gun. You can also swap this out for a disruptor pistol or something that pops shields very quickly when you're trying to take out ads that have a shield. This can be helpful for content that's not as hard or when you don't have many ranged enemies shooting at you. But just keep in mind when your shield is down with this gun, you will get killed very quickly in higher level testing stations. We're going to be showcasing today some content going over some of the level 19 overland testing stations on how to complete some of those with this build. But one of the other weapons we also use in this build is the perforator. You can use any scattergun that's currently available in the game, such as the shell burster, but the perforator does slightly more damage, and it also, when you stack up a bunch of the different damage augments on it, it's going to be melting some of these bosses very quickly. So this is going to be our main core range weapon we're going to be using against bosses. Combined with some of the abilities and skills I'm going to show you guys today, it's going to be very helpful with taking down content. Moving on to our equipment over here, we have a full set of forge minus the X-Core lightings over here. Where you can use any sort of light armor for this build. Unless you're doing the Fire Lab, I would recommend forge armor for that. But you can use pin cushion, you can use other pieces that you might have picked up. But the biggest thing is that you want to have that stamina cost reduction so you have more mobility with your melee weapon, as well as just mobility in general when you're trying to use your shotgun for stamina management. So we're using a tier 6 Holtzman shield, we're using a full suspenser, and we're using the Young Sparky. You can swap out the Young Sparky for the Accelerator pack or one of the other tier 6 packs. It doesn't matter too much as far as which one you have. As long as you have one of the ones that are tier 6, it's going to provide you the best value. But outside of that, guys, so let's dive right into some of the core abilities and techniques we're going to be using for this build. Starting off on the Trooper tree, we're going to be using Center of Mass. That's going to be one of the ones we use both for ad encounters as well as boss encounters. That's going to stay on our bar the entire time. If we're fighting a boss, for example, we're going to be switching our abilities and techniques a little bit compared to when we're clearing ads. We're going to be using Tractor Field as one of our big abilities for providing damage and also making it easier for our scattergun to do damage at range. Combined with Battle Hardened, when you're spiced up, you're going to have almost, I think, about 80 to 90% uptime on your Tractor Field on the boss. If you're duoing with another person, it's going to be very easy to keep the attractor field on your target the entire time you're fighting the boss. And if you see that you do have a duo, you might not even need Battle Hardened. You can swap that out for something else like Death from Above. So just keep that in mind, guys. And also, I have 33 loose skill points here. This is just for those that don't have all the combat specialization skill points unlocked quite yet. If you go look at my specializations right now, I have both Sabotage and Combat maxed out to 100. Combat is giving me an additional 54 skill points. That's a pretty large amount of skill points. So I wanted to do for this build for people that don't have all the combat points unlocked quite yet. So just keep that in mind. And there is some flexibility as far as where you can allocate more points to move around the build a little bit. The core thing we're taking over here, though, are the damage passes for Scattergun, range damage, and we're also going to be leveling Sugar Wire if we want to swap that out for counters like the Fire Boss, testing station 136. We can have that and also use the Spencer Dash if we wanted to have more mobility as well. So keep in mind, there are a couple flex options too when we move over to the Mentat tree. If you're going to use a rifle like the triple shot instead of the scattergun, I would put points into here instead of the scattergun and have that leveled up instead. We have also Garment Keeper over here. for the wear and tear of our armor. But outside of that, guys, there's not really much to choose from as far as what we can add for this build in its current state. If you are doing a lot of content or you have a partner that's shooting the boss or tanking them and the boss is facing away from you, I would recommend putting points in the assassin shot. That's going to give you an extra 15% range damage with your scattergun, triple shot, or whichever weapon of your choosing. So just keep that in mind. Um, Moving on to the planetologist section, we're only putting points in the scientist over here in this tree, whereas power rerouting and overcharge, these are the only two passives that actually provide us a lot of value for this build. If you want some quality of life, passives, I would definitely recommend going for vehicle repair, fuel efficient pilot, things like that. But everything else really is just optional on these trees. Um, Moving on to Bene Gesserit, we have a couple of our core abilities that we're going to be taking from these trees. As you can see, we're putting points to level into Compel, Stop, Screech, Voice Training. Typically, I'm going to be running Compel, but in some cases, I like to switch around and have Stop on my bar as well instead of Cripple Strike. And then also, we're going to have Weirding Step for when we're clearing ads, or if we want to use this on a boss. It's another great ability. It provides a great amount of crowd control, stagger. It's going to give you bonus damage against an opponent. And it's also really easy to get your slow blades off on opponents when you use this ability on them. So just keep that in mind. As far as our core technique, manipulate instability, we're putting points into this as well. This is going to give you guys a 20% extra instability damage. This is going to help if you're slow blade damage. This is going to help you when you get staggers off with your shotgun. It's very helpful. It adds a good amount of damage. It really adds up, especially with some of the other bonuses that we have right now, guys. And then finally, let's move over to the Blade Master trees. We're putting points into long blade damage, as well as solid stance over here. We're also going to, of course, level up Crippling Strike. This is one of our core abilities, both for ads as well as some of the bosses in the game right now. Optionally, if you guys want, you can have Disciplined Breathing on your bar instead of Suspense or Dash or Battle Hardened. If you have the points for it, this is also really good for certain boss encounters where stamina management is more crucial. It's great for clearing ads and overland testing stations where you have to dash around a lot more and kite them. It's overall just a great ability or technique to have along with the abilities that you have. If we're looking at some of our abilities right now, you're going to notice that the Bene Gesserit abilities have a slightly higher stamina cost than Blade Master abilities like Crippling Strike or even Knee Charge. Knee Charge is another ability that really doesn't cost a lot of stamina that can be helpful. If you see yourself using Knee Charge more than Cripple Strike, it's another great option to put points into. The one upside of Cripple Strike is that it's AoE, whereas Knee Charge is only single target. The Knee Charge is also great as a mobility tool if you don't have Suspensor Dash on your techniques. So just something to keep in mind, guys. There is some variety to this build, and like I said before, you can mix and match a lot of armor pieces, weapons, and some of the techniques depending on which encounter you're doing. But this is generally speaking kind of like the one size fits all as far as the ability and stuff that I've been using for ad clearing or boss clearing when it comes to this build. Next up, guys, I want to show you a little bit of content of me clearing some of these higher level overland testing stations and having the build in action so you guys can get a better idea of what we're doing with the build. And after that, please feel free to leave a comment or like for the video. It goes a long way. I'm really trying to grow my channel more. And if you like this content, make sure to subscribe.
This is Imperial Testing Station number 136, and I am Station Supervisor Nicholas Plum. Our mission here is as unique as it is practical. We are focused solely on the real concern with severe environment planetary colonization. In more part of the environment. Shields up.
Say your bit, show that off. Take the time. Shield on. Shield on. Switch attack. Skewer up. Now things are gonna get heated. We see you.